The stock market is crashing. The American economy is on life support. Our allies are fighting back in a trade war against us, and I'm pretty sure they're winning. And the Western Alliance is unraveling because of us. I'd say it's all going according to plan. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Mary Trump's Nerd Avengers. With me thus far is Brian Karam, White House reporter and best-selling author, as well as host of Reverse Shot. Brian, I know you and I are in the same kind of wonderful mood today. So I wanted to start with tariffs because Donald is like obsessed with them. I think it's just yet another side of his decompensation, but they are sort of the driving factor for much of what this country is going through right now. This is an unforced error. It is an unprovoked unilateral trade war against some of our closest allies, of course. Well, I guess it depends how you define the term ally, doesn't it? Anyway, so on Monday, Ontario's premier, Doug Ford, who leads Canada's most populous province, and this is alarming, announced that the cost of electricity will increase in America, in 3 states in America, which includes 1.5 million American homes and businesses. And Michigan, all states, as far as I'm aware, border Canada. And here's what Ford had to say.
We will apply maximum pressure to maximize our leverage. That's why today we're moving forward with a 25% surcharge on electricity exports. For the 1.5 million American homes and businesses that Ontario powers, homes and businesses in Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. This surcharge will cost families and businesses in these states up to $400,000 each in every single day. On an average, this will add around $100 per month to the bills of hardworking Americans. Let me be clear, I will not hesitate to increase this charge. If necessary, if the United States escalates, I will not hesitate to shut the electricity off completely. Believe me when I say I do not want to do this. I feel terrible for the American people because it's not the American people who started this trade war. It's one person who's responsible. That's President Trump.
I feel like a lot of people are responsible because Donald should be in a position to do this. But hey, Tara, joining us now is Tara Setmeyer, co-founder and CEO of the Seneca Project and resident scholar, UVA Center for Politics, 2425. Hello. We are talking about tariffs. So we just played a clip from Ontario's premier, Doug Ford, who, by the way, as far as I'm aware, is not a big lefty. And he's shown more empathy for the American people in that clip than Donald Trump ever has or ever will. And this is how Donald responded on his failing social media site. Quote, based on Ontario, Canada placing a 25% tariff on electricity. Why is that in quotes? Nobody knows. He's insane. Coming into the United States, I have instructed my Secretary of Commerce to add an additional 25%, 25% tariffs to 50% on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada, one of the highest tariffing nations anywhere in the world. Well, I'm pretty sure that's us now. This will go into effect tomorrow morning, March 12th. Unquote, something to look forward to. And this is how Premier Ford responded.
On the electricity, stay tuned.
So what does that look like? What are the potential responses?
Well, we'll see. I'll talk to the team and we'll make an appropriate response to President Trump. Again, I stress, this is not the American people. Canadians know it. And if we go into a recession, it's self-made by one person. It's called President Trump's recession. which shouldn't be this way. We should be booming both countries right now.
I like that, Brian. Donald Trump's recession. But what I don't like is that Canada is in a position to have to do that. On the other hand, I'm very grateful. This is exactly what should be happening. People need to stand up to this idiot and to the horrors he's inflicting on us and our allies. And that's the only way this ends, if people stop appeasing him.
Yeah.
Well, and you're in appeasement central right now.
Yeah. Well, all I can tell you is I was riding my cart in the Walmart down the Democratic aisle.
Holy shit! You're shopping at Walmart. Come on? Is there not a Costco?
Yeah, I was at Costco. I was at Walmart. I turned left down the aisle. Now I'm in Autocrat City. I don't even recognize this aisle. What the hell's going on? I can't put anything in my cart. It's 200% more. I like the idea of DTR, Donald Trump's recession. Call it for what it is, folks. DTR. They say, Trump derangement syndrome, and I say DTR. The fact of the matter is this is all self-inflicted. It was. Where are we? We warned you about this, folks. Hey, this is exactly what he said was coming. The idea that Donald Trump doesn't even understand simple economics. I again go back to how full of bull he is. The guy who who wrote supposedly the book, The Art of the Deal, walks into a deal with.
Did not write it. It was ghostwritten by Tony Schwartz.
Yeah, he did not write it, and obviously didn't read it, and had nothing to do with what he put in it, and has no idea how to make a deal, because he walks into a deal with the Russians saying they have all the cards. He walks into a deal with Canada and going, hey, you know what? Let's have a trade war and shoot ourselves in the foot and cause a recession. It is the most ridiculous foreign policy I've ever. And if you read the rest of that, he said this will all continue until they become, I'll drop it when they become the 51st state. What acid did he take at Woodstock? What drug is he on? That none of this, and I have talked to people.
It's called a serious psychiatric.
But the sad part about that is all the people in that administration who have signed on to his neurosis, who still push back and say that the 2020 election was rigged, who still push back and say, no, we're going to take Canada, who push back and say, Greenland is ours. And I'm going, is there any relation? Where did the break in reality come, and how do we solve it at this point? And the people who say sit back and do nothing, I got to wonder, wow, I'd hate to have you as a nurse in a psychiatric ward.
Well, that's sort of where we are, though.
Yeah, we are in the psychiatric ward. We need a little intervention.
With no treatment is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no treatment. So all I can do at this point is go, what the?
Well, you can say it out loud if it makes it feel better. Yeah.
That's how I'm starting out my morning, Mary. I had my morning coffee, sweet elixir of life. I read the rundown. I'm going, oh, Christ.
You're in trouble when even coffee cannot help you.
It's just day 51, and the United States no longer exists. We're stuck somewhere in a yeah, that would help. Couldn't hurt.
We tried.
All I can tell you is, what the fuck? So that's where I am.
All right. Well, articulate, nuanced, and comprehensive as always.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, Tara, how? I mean, there literally is no way to make sense of this in a way that is good, right?
Right.
And this is where we are. We have, Democrats have one card to play tomorrow, and we'll discuss later whether or not they're going to. But other than that, we're completely out of power. We can't encourage anything. We can't stop anything. The fascist Republican Party, which is being led by Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they are burning it down. And I think at this point, all we can do is hope that it burns down as quickly as possible, so we can try to rebuild from the ashes. But that's a pretty bleak place to be.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to my Seneca Project co-founder Michelle Kinney this morning about this, and how every day when we wake up, it's more god awful news, and we're like, how do we not just say fuck it all, right? It's like, what's the point at this point? It's not. But I said, look, there's two choices here. Either you just give up and hand it all over, or you continue to fight. Right. And I feel like if people in World War II, who were in concentration camps in the Holocaust, could find a way to continue to move to fight for their survival, we can too.
Yes.
Okay. And it is all pretty shockingly terrible because we've never been in a position like this before, ever in this country. And to have the flat out Orwellian level of newspeak coming out of the Trump administration, and to come from Republicans who are trying to tell us that, force feed us that what's happening is actually good, is insane. Like, this is insane. It makes you question whether you're losing it or not.
Yeah.
But we're not. And we are not the insane ones, they are. And we have to continue to tell the truth. Donald Trump's recession is absolutely 100% correct. Donald Trump is ruining America. Donald Trump is ruining your livelihoods. Elon Musk is destroying our government. Elon Musk is betraying our veterans. Like, we have to continue to put the label, the name with what's happening over and over again. We did not do this. Donald Trump did this to you. Donald Trump took your job and your livelihood, and Donald Trump is crashing the economy. Like, this is for them, right? He's not doing this for you. He's doing it for them. Who's them? His billionaire cronies. This is not about how I would like, and I don't know which, I forget the congresswoman's name, but she was on CNN last week, and God bless her, because she gave Scott Jennings the finger to tell him to shut up.
Good.
Went down a list.
Which finger?
Yeah, well, if she was from Jersey, I would know.
Hopefully it was this one.
Right, but it wasn't. It was this one. It was the mama's talking now finger. Okay, the adults are talking.
All right. Well, one can dream. One can dream.
Like, listen, believe me, the Jersey salute is something that I think more people should use, but in these circumstances. However, but she,
you mean the New York salute, right?
Well, the Jersey girl, it's the Jersey salute. But anyway,
that's a mama salute.
Yeah, well, no, that's a different one. That's a different one. But she went down the litany of things. Explain to me how, mass firings at the VA is good for our veterans. How, cutting our programs for overseas is good for our farmers. How cutting Medicare and Medicaid is good for our seniors. How cutting, food stamps is good for single mothers who need help with their children. Like, she went down the list. How is that good for America? How is that reducing prices? That should be what every Democrat says out of their mouths. I don't give a damn what the topic of conversation is. Explain to me, please explain, Donald Trump, Republicans, explain how this is good for America. Explain how tariffs, which are a tax on the American people, are good for America. Like, they just need to keep doing this. And I don't understand why this is so hard. What's going on with Canada is fucking lunacy. Yeah. This is lunacy. The president of the United States is threatening a sovereign neighbor. Canada is its own country. They're not just our
state, Kara. Come on.
No, but they're not. Like,
I know.
Joking about it's not funny at this point. I'm sorry. I mean, for me, it's not fucking funny anymore. This is a real country with a sovereignty that is our neighbor and has been our neighbor, fighting alongside us, Canadian soldiers dying alongside us in the war on terror and World War II. Wherever we needed them, they've been there. And we are literally, the president of the United States is telling them, like, bullying them into, like, you better do this or else we're going to take you over. Yeah. This, under any other circumstances, in any other administration, would be grounds for removal. But the Republicans and even the news media, they're just shrugging it off. Like, well, he's just tweeting the crazy stuff again. No,
it's all baked in.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
the scary part is, you cannot say what you just said in the White House. If I, in the White House, mention that they are a sovereign country and not the 51st state, you will not only be out of the pool, you will be kicked out of the office, and you will never be asked in, and you will never be allowed to ask a question. That's the scary part to me.
But you know what, though, Brian? I don't know what we do about this here, because I know that there's like this push and pull between journalists and mainstream media, like wanting to have access and being in the room and telling the freaking truth.
Oh,
I'm not sure what to do here. Do we encourage mainstream, mainstream journalists to ask those tough questions,
Yes.
and then let Trump throw them out? I think you do, right? You do. And then you have your own press pool. Do it on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care what you do, but then you have your own thing where you ask these questions and say, the president of the United States behind us right now is afraid to answer these questions for the American people, so they threw us out. That's not what a democracy represents. A democracy represents a free press. So people, Americans, decide. Do you want us to ask the questions of the president and have him answer them for you on your behalf? Or do you want us to live in Russia or totalitarian countries where we're not allowed to do that because he's too thin-skinned to tell the truth? I mean, listen, we've got to do something.
Yeah, we do. And I want to stay on the economy for a second, but I do believe that we don't ask the question, we just do it, because way too many Americans either don't know what's going on, or they're like, no, let's be like Russia. So let's just inform them any way we can.
Yes.
And not count on corporate media, because it's great that somebody's on CNN pushing back against Scott Jennings, but Scott Jennings is still there poisoning the discourse.
Yes. And getting a pay raise, right? Being rewarded for being the number one chief propagandist liar.
Thuggish idiot.
You know what?
Well, wait, hang on. Let's just keep rolling with the economy, and then we can go back to other things. Because in addition to the tariffs, and this is happening directly because of the tariffs, the stock market is crashing. It is down. I just checked. It's down another 560 points already today. It lost 1,100 points yesterday before closing, down 880. That's bad. And for everybody who may not be familiar, Mike Johnson, the hapless and grotesque Speaker of the House, spoke to the press and was asked about the effects of Donald's trade war on the stock market. Let's watch that clip.
Plunged yesterday. It's going down again today. Part of the reason is because of President Trump's policies on tariffs, including the ones that were just introduced this morning. Can you comment here? Does Trump need to rethink what he is doing, given the chaos that we're seeing in the stock market?
This is how I feel about it. Many of us feel about it. The president has already proven what he can do on the economy. This is not theoretical. Look at the first term of the Trump administration. Prior to COVID, we've talked about this many times in here. After the first 2 years of the Trump administration, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world, not just the U.S. Go check it. We had every demographic was doing better. All boats were rising. We had a thriving U.S. economy. We were booming, and that's because of the policies and the strategy that President Trump led and delivered. We made America the first priority. That is what he is doing again. Now he's got to reshake and shape things, because it's in a real mess. The last 4 years was a disaster.
I mean, listen. Oh my God. Okay, that guy, right? That lick spittle. I don't believe in hell. I do not believe in hell. I hope it exists just for him. I seriously, what a mendacious faux Christian. He's grotesque, because everything out of his mouth was a lie. The American economy was not the greatest economy in the history of the universe in his first 2 years of his freaking administration. So today, as I mentioned, after yesterday, which was the worst day of the year with a loss of $4 trillion, the Dow Industrial Average, as I said, is down another 560 points. And this is because, and after Donald raised Canadian steel and aluminum tariff to 50% in a post on his failing social media thing, which is insane. The S&P has dropped 1%, while the NASDAQ composite has slipped 0.8%. After, again, sharp losses yesterday, this is a sell-off fueled by Donald's trade war. Citigroup downgraded U.S. stocks from overweight to neutral, citing a, quote, pause and U.S. exceptionalism, unquote. As of Monday, 73% of S&P stocks were in correction territory, which means that they were down 10% or more from 52-week highs. 203 stocks, which is 40% of the index, are now in bear market territory, which is the bad kind. Bull market, good. Bear market, bad. Down over 20%, which
Trump
signals
market
deeper
worse.
economic concerns. Like Fox, even Fox can't quite figure out how to spin this one. Quote, the Dow is 1,500 points below where it was when Donald took office. That's not a good look.
Yeah, because
No.
they all
That's
know.
what the host said. So
Now you're messing with their money too.
So
Yes.
check this out, because it is so important in times of great distress and uncertainty and chaos, even when it is intentionally created, to have at the helm steady leadership who's focused, laser focused on the problem at hand.
Yeah.
So what do we think Donald was doing while the market was crashing? Well, you know what he was doing?
Golfing.
He posted on his failing social media company 100 times in 6 hours. 100 times in 6 hours. I'm repeating that because that is objectively insane. Dean Baker, you know what? Let's stop there for a second. And Brian,
Yeah.
I mean, what say you? What say you to that?
Here's what I say, having been in the White House briefing room and the press lately. This Donald Trump, let's just break it down to the simple cause and effect. Donald Trump went on TV and said he could not guarantee that we wouldn't be in a recession because of his tariffs. Therefore,
forgot that part.
Inducing a recession. So the next day, the Dow drops 900 points. That would be yesterday. And so when it drops the 1,100 points eventually, he issues a statement. He was first asked, and his PEP secretary came out and wouldn't talk. And then this was the first official White House response. And I want to quote it, and I'm not making this up. Quote, want to emphasize that we're seeing a strong divergence between animal spirits of the stock market and what we've actually seen unfold from businesses and business leaders. And the latter is obviously more meaningful than the former on what's in term for the economy in the medium to long term. Now, if you can understand what that means, you have a stronger animal spirit than me, perhaps. But more importantly, it doesn't speak. Here's what it doesn't do. That statement does in no way speak to the fact that he induced this recession, the crash in the market, and he will not own up to it. And now he's coming out, and his own people are having to backtrack and say, hey, the economy is still strong. We're not going into a recession, although Trump has already said we're headed for one. So you tell me what kind of leadership that is, because to me, that doesn't sound like leadership. It sounds like the blind leading the blind, or in this case, the morons leading the moron. And at the end of the day, all of this, there's no other explanation, folks. This is a simple fact. Donald Trump induced this by being on television, I think it was Fox, and saying this, and then causing the market to overreact. Now, the difference you got to understand, and this is why I'm really worried. Not that everything else hasn't made me already really worried, but the fact of the matter is, and I remember in the first Donald Trump administration, me and I think it was John Bennett from CQ Roll Call, we had gone back to ask a question about something that he had done, and we both said, hey, you know, the market's going to react strongly to this. We need to get a reaction from you. They came back within 15 minutes and said, no, we're not doing this. We understand the markets need to be strong, and we're sticking by what we've done before, blah, 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 whatever it was. So they reacted to the market. Here, Donald Trump is so delusional. This above all else is an indication of how this SOB has lost it. He is so delusional. He not only thinks that he can bully Canada, Greenland, the rest of the world except Putin, who he's busy, kissing up to, but he can bully the rest of the world, including the stock market, which he has respected before because he knows he's going to have to bend over and grab his pants when it comes to the stock market. He's going to get raw dogged economically because of this.
I don't believe that for a second. Hang on one second, Tara.
I think he's delusional.
Add some. No, he's totally delusional. But give me a second. First of all, animal spirits in the context of the stock market. What that person was saying is that this is all just because of irrational forces and people not knowing what they're. Yeah. So. Exactly the opposite of what the administration. Sorry, just hang on. It's the exact opposite of what an administration, as Brian just pointed out, of what an administration needs to do. You say, no, of course not. We're doing everything in our power to make sure that our economy is blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't care. So my question is this, because we know that the stock market is one of the most important metrics by which Donald Trump measures not just his worth, but his self-worth. So
Yeah.
I believe totally that if he doesn't care about it, it's for a reason. Either because he's figured out a way to be immune to the volatility in the market, or he's benefiting from it. I don't know if that's because he's, we know this is a long-standing pattern. My grandfather used to do this. This is a long-standing pattern. They would announce something and a stock would go up and they'd sell it, or they announce something else and a stock would go down and they buy it. That market manipulation, that was one of their
hallmarks. Yes.
Okay, that's not what but that works too. I was thinking of something fancier, but it wasn't coming to mind. Oh, modus operandi is what I was trying to say.
There you go. That's a remote.
So Tara, I worry about that, because if he doesn't care, then there's literally no reason for him to stop it. So Dean Baker, who's a senior economist at the Center for Economic and Policy Research, has an idea. We talked about this before, and I just want to reinforce this so people start discussing it. He wrote, quote, "It's hard to know how bad this recession would be, but it will definitely be the, quote, Donald J. Trump recession," unquote. Right? So here we are. Here we are.
Yeah. And we didn't have to be here. This was completely unnecessary. Yeah. And so this is self-inflicted by Donald Trump, completely unnecessary for the American people to suffer, for the world economy to be completely upended. For what? And I think that your point, Mary, about that Trump doesn't do anything for no reason. I mean, he is delusional and he's an ignoramus, but there is always a motivation behind it for him somewhere, whether it's rational or not. And in this case, I mean, is someone whispering in his ear, crash the economy so our economy can be taken over by crypto? And then you're going to be, a gazillionaire and you'll control the world because crypto is really the future. That's what I worry about. That's what's going on. This whole sovereign wealth fund thing, bullshit, that they're going to sell off like our national lands and everything else for Saudi Arabia and whoever
and
the
our
fuck
gold,
gold in Fort Knox and the Federal Reserve in New York. Like they're gonna sell all that off for whoever, for Saudi Arabia and Elon Musk and the other crypto bros out there to do what with? Turn us all into biodiesel and turn the United States into techno states. I mean, this is a real thing. What's going on here, that on the undercurrent of all of this with the financial side of things, that the American people have no freaking clue what's happening. It's like the oligarchs are being controlled by the broligarchs. There's people above that are controlling this, and Trump is the useful idiot here. They're telling him, "Oh, we're going to give you more cookies and you'll be in Big Macs and you'll be happy. Trust us." Meanwhile, they're doing all kinds of stuff that's tanking our economy. That's very, very dangerous. How do we stop it? Well, first of all, Democrats need to all be on the same page here, pointing out that this is happening, right? They have to point out that this is happening and why the American people should care. Keep it simple. They don't have to get into the whole crypto bro thing like I just did. I mean, people should know that. But the bottom line is Trump is doing this to you to benefit them. How does this benefit you? The average American worker who has put money in their 401k, who has money, for their retirement, that, the fireman, the soldier, the nurse, the teachers, these are the people who are going to pay the price. The diner waitress that works at the local diner in your West Virginia town that's now decimated because Donald Trump has cut all of these Trump and Musk have cut all these federal services for you. Billionaires are cutting your benefits and services and your livelihood to benefit them. Explain that to Alice, the diner waitress in West Virginia. How's that good for you? Yeah. That's what Democrats should be saying. They should be talking to the people who live in the red districts, because people live in blue districts already get it. It's the red districts people that are this whole populism, national populism they thought they were voting for is actually screwing them. Sow the seeds of dissension within MAGA as well, because we're all Americans. We're all going to pay the price. And Donald Trump and Elon Musk are controlling it. Billionaires. Why?
But hang on. Because I think talking to people in red districts is important for many reasons. Because one of the things we're seeing, and this has been happening for a long time, is these guys, these anti-American, anti-democratic monsters are softening the ground for people who are susceptible to have their Social Security taken away from them without a fight, to have them poorer and sicker, because, hey, we're just trying to make things better. So it's going to be a little hard at first, but then that's what's happening. So we do need to counter that. I want to move on to because this
question.
Yeah, of course.
Here's my quick question. Could it be that we all kind of have it sort of half right? He is delusional. He does have a plan. We've noticed that he's already called a national emergency 3 times. What if his plan is to destroy in order to control? That's
definitely the plan.
Of course, that's the
where
plan.
yeah. Okay, so we're all on that same page.
Of course,
'Cause
absolutely.
For me, I mean, having been in that White House and asked these hard questions for 8 years, I've been trying to tell people for a while, this guy's fucking bots. He's nuts.
This is the thing. Donald is a deeply unwell man. He's delusional. Also, we know the list of things that he is. So he is also, because of all of that, because he's been enabled forever, because he's been institutionalized forever, he's become very useful to much smarter, more powerful people. So the agenda on the fascist right, as laid out very clearly for those of you who weren't paying attention in Vance's election by Project 2025,
they wrote it down,
fits right in his delusions. So he will sign off on anything as long as he believes that it will accrue to his benefit in the terms of wealth and power. That's it. And then they can run rampant over everything because he doesn't care. Now, speaking of things that really matter, that really does present a viable situation for the Democrats to play the only card they hold. We are looking at a potential government shutdown soon because of the budget. Now, Donald vowed to lead the charge to unseat Representative Thomas Massie, Republican. I love the separation of powers in my dreams, because it no longer exists. A Republican of Kentucky. I'm sure Elon Musk is going to spend millions of dollars primarying this guy, who, by the way, is not a good guy. He's just like he's a fiscal hawk, and he wants more draconian budget cuts. But Massie is opposing the GOP short-term government funding bill ahead of March 15th, which is the shutdown deadline. In a March 11th post, Donald praised the House Freedom Caucus for backing Mike Johnson's stopgap funding effort, which is a very bad bill, and attacked Massie, calling him a grandstander and comparing him to Liz Cheney, which is not an apt comparison.
No.
Anyway, Massie has often opposed his party on fiscal matters. Again, he's to the right of most of the people of the Republican Party on these matters, which is terrifying. He dismissed Donald's threat and tweeted that attempts to control his votes through primary challenges won't work on him. Donald previously attacked Massie in 2020, calling him a third-rate grandstander. So I guess he got promoted because now he's just an actual grandstander. And Massie noted that in previous primaries, challengers tried to be, quote-unquote, more MAGA than he has, failed to gain any traction because his constituents value transparency and principles over blind allegiance. Well, okay, then I think that's misstating it. But whatever the case, we are in this position now where if Mike Johnson is able to hold his caucus together, because the Republicans have the majority, but it is a very narrow one. They can't afford to lose one Republican vote. And so far, that's Massie. So if they manage, I guess credit where credit is due, the Democrats will be irrelevant in this. There will be no negotiation. It will pass. It will go to the Senate. The Senate, however, will need 7 Democrats. So far, 19 of them have not made a public statement about where they stand on this. Brian, if this isn't a no-brainer, I don't know what to say to you. The problem I'm seeing, and this relates to what Tara has been discussing, the Democrats have not been messaging about this, and I am so appalled. And I'm telling you, I don't mean to be alarmist, but if 7 Democrats or more vote with Republicans on this, it is over for us.
Yes. Well, first of all, a no-brainer describes all of Congress, most of the executive and judicial branch. So that being said, I feel like at some point in time, you have to be a bit of foghorn leghorn and lecture these people and just tell them, I say, boy, they ought to call you busted shutter because you're always flapping in the breeze. But for the love of God, could the Democrats, this has always been my complaint about Democrats and messaging. And to the point about Massey, here's the thing that's really important about him pushing you back against Trump. Take a look at his district. That goes from eastern Jefferson County in Louisville all the way across northern Kentucky to eastern Kentucky. It includes Covington and some very blue areas. It is a purple district. Donald Trump will not succeed it has been it votes. By the way, Kentucky, if you forget who their Democratic leader is, Bashir has reached across the aisle and gotten a lot of those votes that Donald Trump thought he could have. So by no means is Donald Trump's threat to get rid of Massey viable, valuable, or in any way cognizant with reality. It's just not. You cannot equate it to what really is going on in the district. Surprise, Donald Trump is disassociated from reality. Shock, right?
That's why Massey pushed back.
That's why because he can.
Right.
And he is that red guy, but he also knows his district. And that district is not going to roll over for Donald Trump. So he's got a problem. Now, if you go to the Democrats that have a problem, 19 of them haven't come out. Here's the problem I continue to have. It's the one that got me in trouble with the Biden administration when they would tell me, look, Brian, we're for, we are the reason why we didn't go in a recession. We put $1 trillion, a dollar bill, an infrastructure bill out there that kept us from, going south economically. I go, yes, you did. And you said it once. You need to say it every day. The damn Democrats will not message themselves at all. They'll do it once and go, well, that satisfies it. No, Donald Trump is out there every day going, MAGA, 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 MAGA. Now, you may get tired of what he's having to say, but it's like a freaking jackhammer drilling it into the American populace. And when
Goebbels was right about propaganda in the lie.
Yes.
Just keep repeating them over and over and over and over again.
And they'll believe the big lie because they will believe the big lie better than they'll believe the little one. The Democrats have got to get some solidarity on this, but they always eat their own. And at some point in time, when are they going to get together? I mean, no matter how low the Republicans push the bar, the Democrats have it's an unscalable wall for them. They simply cannot crawl over it. And for this one, talking to Jamie Raskin, as I did in the last couple of weeks, and other members of the Democratic congressional delegation, they all agree that they've got to do better, but they don't know how to do it. And that's, to me, the most frustrating thing.
And we just go do some I don't know, informational meetings with them.
Mary, to your point, they need to get out of their bubble and talk to people that like you.
That was Tara's point, actually.
Yes.
I mean, it is quit going. I see these people at the bars and the restaurants downtown. They're all talking to each other. What do you think it means? What do you think it means? I go, well, why are you talking to each other about what do you think it means? Why don't you get your fat butt out of your office and go talk to people that are
and
voting?
Also, Tara, for them not to know what it means is just gobsmacking to me, first of all.
Right.
And secondly, I thought it was a very, very bad sign that Chuck Schumer chose Alyssa Slotkin to give the rebuttal to Donald's address to a joint session in Congress, because she's so centrist. She's uncomfortable calling herself a Democrat, for God's sakes. We need a standard bearer who is willing to engage in this fight. Don't get me wrong. Yes, you have to speak to other people, but again, we're pro-democracy, for God's sakes, and anti-fascism. Right. That's not about policy anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I like Alyssa Slotkin because you remember I'm a little more right of center,
yeah,
right?
I understand that, but I just think,
but to your point, she was not in your face enough about what was going on. I don't disagree with her policy wise, but from Michigan, whatever, it's a different. But
of course, she was. That's not the point.
She gave a standard. If this was a normal time, that would have been a great rebuttal. That's the hardest job in Washington next to vice president. Nobody wants that job. It sucks. Nobody watches it. It's so the rebuttal is almost they should get rid of it. Almost do something different. Don't do the same thing. Do something else. But seriously. Anyway. But she, she was on The View today and was saying that, that Democrats need to be more cutthroat in their priorities or something about how they speak about them. And I'm like, yes, you're right. but you guys are not invoking that same level of passion that's coming from your grassroots that they're looking for leadership and fighting back. Instead, you go and you censure Al Green for standing up and showing some passion. Now, we can quibble about whether it was the right thing to do or not, but at least he did it. And people at least were like, at least somebody's standing up and fighting back, right? Yeah. And I know a lot of people are excited about Bernie, but he's not the guy either.
Oh,
okay?
Bernie's
he's not the guy either. But yet here we have Bernie freaking Sanders getting thousands of people gathered.
Another old guy.
Another old, very white guy.
I will never understand that ever.
I don't either. I don't understand the appeal. Jesus. But instead, the Democrats actually have a deep bench of people who are great communicators.
And you would never know it now.
No, you wouldn't. Other than Jasmine Crockett and AOC, who I love, right? Yeah. I love what they're doing. And a handful of others, maybe Chris Murphy and, Dan Goldman, handful of others. But there's they're not using their stable of people who are good communicators that talk like normal human beings to go out there and do this message. And I know because I feel bad. I'm sorry I have to jump because I have to do MSNBC in a couple minutes.
Oh, wait, can we play your ad for?
Yeah, I was actually going to tee it up because I think
okay, tee it up because we're about to talk about the fact that Elon Musk called Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona a traitor.
Right, which is just absolutely insane. Mark Kelly is a former astronaut, Navy pilot, has done nothing but put his life on the line for this country. His wife was a freaking
married
hero
to another American hero, Gabby
Giffords, who survived a domestic terrorist attack on her life when she was a member of Congress. I mean, you wanted Elon Musk, the South African who came here because he dodged his own service in South Africa, who's the descendant of Nazis from Canada. His grandparents fled Canada to come to apartheid South Africa because they felt more comfortable there because they were fucking Nazis. So Elon Musk has the audacity to call Mark Kelly a traitor. You have got to be kidding me. And you know what? Democrats should be just as pissed off and upset as we all are right now and out there saying, how dare you, right? Take this patriotism bullshit back away from MAGA. They don't own it, which is the same thing that we've done now at Seneca Project. We partnered with Marcus Flowers, who ran against Marjorie Taylor Greene. He is an Army veteran. Army veteran. Ran for Congress, and he started a PAC called Hold the Line to help get new generation of Democrats elected. And we were at Seneca, we were like, we need to do something about what's happening to veterans because the Democrats sure as hell haven't put anything out. Why not? They should be. Veterans are getting overly hammered and their families from these Elon Musk Doge cuts. They are just indiscriminately doing this. They're going to cut 80,000 jobs from the VA, which means jobs and services that our veterans not only need but earned. And how dare they? These draft dodging motherfuckers, both of them, Trump and Musk. Nobody in their family ever served anything.
My dad did. My dad did.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about your dad.
Him in that family.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct. That is correct. But how dare they? And so we put together something called Betraying the Brave that we have out there, and we're trying to raise some more money for it so we can place it. We want to place it at military base locations. We want to place it outside of Mar-a-Lago and in DC so that people see what Donald Trump is doing. They are betraying our veterans. So here it is. If you don't mind playing it, it's called Betraying the Brave.
Oh, we're happy to. Let's go.
Thank you.
The golden age of America has only just begun.
Veterans will suffer.
It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before.
Friday night Pentagon purge.
President Trump has just fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Truly unprecedented.
And we take good care of our veterans.
Veterans are being fired.
We've been betrayed.
Absolutely betrayed.
A slap in the face.
I feel let down.
I feel like I'm not good enough.
We love our veterans.
The president referred to them as suckers and losers.
We're not losers. We're not suckers.
We care about veterans, but at the same time, we have a fiscal responsibility to use taxpayer dollars to pay people that actually work.
We don't deserve to be treated like this.
Perhaps they're not fit to have a job at this moment.
These people are brave, patriotic Americans that go to work every single day.
We have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work.
I put myself in harm's way for the country.
We put our whole entire life into public service, and all of a sudden, one man comes in and throws it all away.
Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
If Elon Musk does what he wants to do, between 200 to 300,000 veterans are fired this year.
And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately.
Veterans make up 30% of the federal workforce.
Combat veterans, it's your neighbors. We want to work hard. We want to help people.
These warriors who shed their blood.
The Department of Veterans Affairs dismissing more than 1,400 probationary workers.
Can you guarantee that veterans' benefits and care will not be affected by these cuts?
No, I can't guarantee anything.
I just feel like I've just been swept up in a dustpan and vote out. I voted for Trump. A lot of us didn't deserve this.
Love it.
As
Love it.
always,
Thank you.
brilliant, moving. That made me cry.
Imagine
because
if we had this. Imagine if Democratic donors recognized the value and urgency of the moment and supported
it be
organizations
nice?
like ours that
Wouldn't
are
it be
actually
nice?
messengers that are creating this, that we could get that out on the airwaves. I know some people are like, this should be played at, on Fox or on Mar-a-Lago. You know how much it costs to play an ad on Fox? It
Yeah.
costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that.
Yeah.
But you can do it other ways. You can do it in local markets. This should be played in major markets where there are major military bases, so they see what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing to you. They did this to you, and make your representatives answer for it. Make them answer for it. So, that's why we're still doing what we do, but it's very frustrating that the DNC, the DCCC, the super PACs that have all the money that Democrats raised do not see value in messaging. Where are
Incredible.
they? Where
It's
are they?
incredible.
We're
Well,
here trying to fill the void and fill the breach, and we appreciate those who support us. And if people can continue to, please do, and also support my Substack. I started one called Uncompromised.
Yes,
I'm building it.
Tara Substack and the Seneca Project. Please check both of those out. Thank you for keep those ads coming. We'll do everything in our power to help out as we can.
Love you, Tara.
And you've been wonderful, Mary. Thank you. Mary has been very supportive of us, and we are grateful for her for that.
Well, and I am grateful for you and your phenomenal work. I mean, it is so necessary, and we need to find more people in positions to help because I don't know what their priorities are right now.
I don't know.
Anyway, I know you've got to run,
Anyway,
but it was
that's okay.
wonderful for you to be here.
Thanks, guys. Thank
And we'll
you.
see you soon. Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.
Love you. Okay, so that was amazing, Brian.
Yes.
And again, in the wake of that, Musk attacked Senator Mark Kelly because who is this man, this pro-apartheid creep who is dismantling our country with just completely unimpeded. This happened yesterday, March 10th, called him a traitor after Kelly urged the United States to continue supporting Ukraine, our ally, during his third visit since 2023. Kelly, of course, defended himself last night on Rachel Maddow's show. So let's take a look at that clip.
When I was 22 years old, before getting sworn into the Navy, or as I was getting sworn in to the United States Navy, I swore an oath to our Constitution to protect and defend the Constitution. I have lived that oath my entire life. I flew in combat in the first Gulf War. I served in the United States Navy for 25 years. I spent 15 years at NASA risking my life flying the space shuttle. And the only oath I can think of that maybe Elon has sworn is an oath to his own checking account, to his pocketbook, an oath maybe to ruining the lives of veterans.
Yeah, that sounds about accurate. Just so we're clear, Kelly's visit included meetings with Ukrainian pilots, wounded soldiers, and Red Cross staff, and where he reaffirmed how vital U.S. support is for Ukraine and also for our own security. And this is in the wake of Donald's pausing military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine following that horrific and disgraceful Oval Office meeting between Donald Vance and President Volodymyr Zelensky. In the past, Musk has targeted Kelly, calling him a Dem donor shill, which is, again, why this man, the fact that we even have to talk about Elon Musk makes me sick.
Well, Elon Musk is the gum on the bottom of your shoe that owns your shoe. He is, without a doubt, when you talk about being a traitor to this country, let me ask you, if you were in private enterprise and you hired an efficiency expert who lied, stole your books, fired people without cause, took the best people out of the range, got rid of your profits, and drove up the costs, what would you do? You'd fire him. But the fact of the matter is, with trillions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars at his personal disposal, and trillions of dollars in the national treasury at his disposal, we're not getting rid of him. And look, I've been to Ukraine. I've interviewed Kelly. That guy's dead on target. We should be supporting our allies, supporting the Constitution, supporting those who support liberty. If you don't get it by this point, what more do you need to see in order for you to understand that Donald Trump, Donald Musk, and Elon Trump do not stand for democracy? They stand for autocracy. Donald Trump is looking to be named king, and his vice regent, his co-shadow president, forget J.D. Vance, remember Donald Musk. That's where we are. And I don't know what else it would take. But if you're going to call Mark Kelly a traitor, you're a moron. And you have and you're delusional, you are arrogant, ignorant, and you are manipulative. And you are trying to drive the narrative. And once again, speaking to what we were speaking about when Tara was here, it's quit accepting the frame that the Republicans put you in. Frame the argument differently. And I would say, what do you say of a man who has violated trust, destroyed the United States all within 50 days? That's the traitor. And show Elon Musk's picture. And by the way, deport his ass back to South Africa.
Yeah, please do. Please do. I don't think South Africa would take him back. But, I mean, if you're willing to call Mark Kelly a traitor, what that means to me is there's no line you will not cross. Speaking of which, I wanted to have more time for this, but I'm going to be writing about this later. I'm sure you've been discussing it. Mahmoud Khalil, who was a Columbia student and Palestinian. He's a U.S. green holder. What does that mean? That means he lives here legally. He has every right to live here. He was arrested by ICE agents 2 days ago on March 9th under a Trump regime crackdown on anti-Israel protesters. Last I checked, those protests happened quite some time ago. A federal judge halted his deportation. They were going to deport this guy.
Yeah.
Pending a Wednesday court hearing, calling Khalil's arrest, quote unquote, the first of many. Donald falsely claimed that protesters were paid agitators. He vowed to deport others. And the White House posted, quote, "Shalom, Mahmoud," unquote, on Twitter, mocking him. Khalil, who mediated between students and administrators in Columbia's 2020 Gaza Solidarity protest, had pleaded for university protection just a day before his arrest, fearing that ICE would detain him. Columbia, of course, denied involvement because Columbia sucks, and they're denying everything because they've done absolutely nothing to help their students in the face of all of this. ICE revoked Khalil's green card. How that's allowed is beyond my comprehension, and secretly transferred him from New York to Louisiana, a Louisiana detention center. Last I checked, Louisiana detention centers are not where you want to be ever. It has limited his access to legal support. Legal experts, right, call this a First Amendment violation and a dangerous escalation because if they can do this, they are capable of anything. We already know that. But again, watching it happen in real time is absolutely chilling. And if you are not chilled by this, then you just are not paying enough attention.
Well, look, let's start with what you said about, he claims they're paid agitators. I've been to a Donald Trump rally. He knows what paid agitators are because he's paid them. And I've seen them on numerous occasions, including the African Americans for Trump that got out of it, that were paid, didn't even know what they were doing, but got paid and showed up. Catholics for Trump. There's a whole list of them that he's paid.
Right.
But
I
was not a paid agitator.
If you are a paid agitator, is that a reason to be arrested and have your green card revoked and be transferred to
Of course
exactly.
not. No, that's no reason.
Like, who cares?
I just love the idea that he's calling them out for something that he does on occasion, and he's lying about it, and he's lying about it at the same time. Look, the First Amendment is the First Amendment for a reason. And if you don't understand the First Amendment, then just go back and read it. It's very simple. You don't need to have a college degree or a high school diploma to understand that it has to do with the government stifling your speech, which is what this is. It has nothing to do, if you and I disagree, and I say, "Oh, Mary, be quiet," and you say, "Oh, Brian, be quiet." Well, you know what? That's not a violation of our First Amendment. We're just two idiots arguing. But when the government comes out and says, "Hey, you cannot speak against your government," our government, this government, then that is a violation of the First Amendment. This is a clear and provocative case of a First Amendment abuse. And he was doing what time-honored tradition in colleges and protests have done, a peaceful. This was not a riot like on January 6th. It wasn't an insurrection. It was a protest. And Donald Trump, who came out in one of his first executive orders and said he's restoring free speech, not only did he not restore free speech, he doesn't understand that it's already enshrined in the Constitution. And when Donald Trump says he is championing free speech, what he is really telling you is that he is only championing speech that benefits him, which is why he has limited our access to him in the White House, why he has limited his access to Americans unless they're a favorable crowd, which is why he continues to persecute and harass those who disagree with him. This, again, is the keystone. This is right. If you're going to put an arc together that is called autocracy or monarchy or dictatorship, that keystone at the top of the arc has to do with free speech, and he is destroying it. This cannot stand. I'm glad that a judge kept him from being deported, but this should never have gotten as far as it has, and it will end up at the Supreme Court, I suspect, and it will be interesting at this point in time to see whether those 2 or 3 conservative justices who say they support free speech will do so in this case. Because at the end of the day, if this case is allowed to go through, once again, folks, what more do you need to understand that your democracy that you grew up in, and as flawed as it may be, is dead? It died. It's buried. You got to resurrect it.
Yeah, I mean, no. Are you kidding? Like this is chilling in so many ways. It's also going to chill people's willingness to protest because the die has been cast. They are willing to arrest us for peacefully protesting under our First Amendment rights. And it does, I mean, the problem is we don't know. We cannot say with any certainty what the corrupt, illegitimate supermajority of the Supreme Court is going to do. They've already shown themselves to be completely unbound by the Constitution of the United States of America. We have an imperial presidency right now, so who knows, which is also chilling. Anyway, I want to move on to your comments quickly. So let me do that.
I didn't do
it. Super sticker. Thank you so very much. Appreciate it. So many feels. Thank you as well. Question: could Donald wanting Greenland have to do with Putin wanting it? We take it somehow, then Donald gives it to Putin as part of a future BS peace deal. I mean, I think for Donald, it's always about money, mostly. First and foremost, he wants Greenland's vast resources of rare earth minerals. However, Greenland also does have strategic importance, which has never been a problem before. Like, we've never felt the need to take it over. So yes, that would totally be doing Putin a solid. So sometimes there are more than one motives. Diana, super sticker, thank you. That's great. Liberté, fabulous. Thank you so much. Comment: I wish U.S. media would show reruns of, yeah, no kidding. 9/11 documentaries to remind Republicans of the true spirit of American solidarity and heroism, which we all admired so much at the time. Yes. Also, January 6th ones to show the exact opposite of those things, for sure. Great idea. Hey, Amazon, want to get right on that to counteract the fact that you're rerunning the fucking Apprentice?
Thank you, Mary, because I turn on Amazon, I'm going, you got to be kidding me. I've got to see reruns of and they're promoting them. Sorry.
No, Liz, I mean, I started it. Anyway, Ken, Canadian in the house, thank you. And the comment, Canada thanks you. Well, we thank you. Stay strong, guys. Take Schindler's word seriously. Yeah, no kidding. The days of should we take him seriously or literally are over. That's both.
The rearview mirror.
Yep, totally in the rear view. Barb, thank you so very much. Comment, appreciate y'all. That is a great pronoun. I can't use it though because I sound like an idiot because I'm from the Northeast and it just doesn't fly.
I say y'all. I love her guitar too.
You're from Louisville, so you can do it. I can't even say that properly without sounding like an idiot. Anyway, Dylan, super sticker. Thanks so much, Dylan. That's really generous of you. Neuropilot, thank you very much. comment. Captain Kelly is a naval aviator and combat veteran. Yes, he is. He has more bravery in his small toenail than actually that's not true because Donald has no bravery at all. So there you go. Tina, thank you so very much. Comment, thankful for all nerds. So am I, because the nerds rock. I love having them hang out with me. Makes me feel lucky. Sherry, super sticker. Thank you so much, Sherry. That is fantastic. Much appreciated. Okay, that does it for us today. I want to thank everybody who's watching on YouTube and Substack, which is a new thing for us. So that's exciting. To the dwindling number of people who are even able to find us on Twitter, thank you for your perseverance. And to everybody listening to the podcast, we really appreciate that as well. What else? Oh, yes. Everybody leaving comments. Your comments are great. And we can't get to a lot of them, unfortunately, because of time constraints, but we do appreciate them.
Plug?
What?
Can I do a shameless plug?
In 1 second, you can.
In 1 second. Brian Karam on Substack, and we're coming up with 100 Days of Chaos, the documentary on the new Donald Trump regime coming up in July.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm very excited about that. Okay, so also everybody, all of our super stickers, all of our people giving us gifts. I promise you the money goes to a very good cause. We are growing our independent media network, and we could not do it without you. So it really means a lot to us. Of course, to our excellent moderators who keep this community a place where all of us want to be. It is really a wonderful place. And again, for those of you who don't know, I also have a Substack. It's called The Good in Us. And that is also a great community. The difference is that over there, like you can give lengthy comments to posts and you can interact in just more expansive ways with other people who follow. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, neither does Brian's. And it's just, it would be great if we had a little bit more crossover between Substack and here. So I think Brian, I, Waj, Dean, and Tara all have Substacks. Yes. Danielle might. You know what? I'm not sure, but we'll update you. So follow all of us on Substack. It's free to subscribe. Okay, and finally, before I forget that, I have to promote stuff. I will see you later at 6 p.m. Eastern. Mary Trump Live is every weeknight, Monday through Friday, at 6 p.m. Eastern. So I'll catch you there. Also, we've got videos dropping every single day. So keep an eye out for those. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do. And then click on the bell icon, because then that means that you will be alerted every time new videos drop. So you don't even have to go searching. We will let you know, or actually YouTube will let you know. And like and share the videos, because guess what, guys? We are almost at 325,000 subscribers here. Woo-hoo! And we are shooting. Our next goal is 350. And you can make that happen, because I can't tell you how important it is to grow this thing. So thanks for all you do. Thank you to my phenomenal team that is doing work that it's difficult to describe how hard they're working, given the rapidity and a volume of the news cycle these days. So thanks, guys. I appreciate all of you. And that's it. So hopefully, Brian, I'll see you next time. Thank you to Brian Karam and Tara Setmeyer for joining me today. It was a phenomenal discussion. I had a great time, despite the horrors. And I will see everybody tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern for Mary Trump Live. In the meantime, everybody, please stay safe and be kind. Bye.